Hey y'all, what's up? Taurus here, TaurusBeats.com. It's been a while since I put a video up here on YouTube, and I just wanted to say thanks to everybody who's still been coming by, leaving questions, comments. I really appreciate your support. Subscribers, I really appreciate you guys too. And I always say thank you for spending your time with me. I realize that time is probably that's the one thing that you cannot get back. So when you spend it somewhere, I really take that to heart. It's so valuable. So I appreciate you. I just want to get into this video. I'm just going to talk about a song that I'm actually making. That's the reason why I haven't been on YouTube as much anymore, is because I'm actually putting together more and more of my Moody instrumental music. And this particular collection that I'm working on right now is I'm calling it Stirred, Not Shaken. Again, that's Stirred, Not Shaken. And the thing is that I was inspired by this particular video right here, Building 429. I just happened to hear it for the first time. I heard it, and there was only one piece in the song that really kind of grabbed me. And just a little bit about it for me, when I'm listening to this particular song, I love the guitar piece at the beginning, but what grabbed me was the sounds that they were incorporating. It was more of well, let me just let you hear it, because it was the sound of that little piano or that key piece, and it's only that small piece that inspired this song that I'm making. So I just want to get into that right quick and let you listen. That small piece right there was the thing that grabbed me. And I'm telling you, sometimes that's just the way music works. And if you guys, if you're trying to do music production, you're into music in any kind of way, you probably understand this a little bit. You probably understand what I'm talking about, how it's just one little piece of a song that kind of grabs you and it sticks with you, and it's like stays in your head and you can't get it out. And it's not even the entire song. That piece of the song, when you listen to the rest of the song, they go totally away from that, and they go into pretty much the hook of what they're doing. Well, that's cool. But like I said, I was inspired by Building 429 and this particular song, and that was the inspiration for what I did in my song. So I'm going to get into mine here. Of course, I'm using Reason 6.5, like I've been doing. But this particular song is built, if you will, is built with that key in mind. That ding, 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 ding. Is built with that in mind. So if you keep that in mind when you listen to what I put together here, hopefully that'll help you understand what I'm talking about. And when I say inspired by, it's not I'm not trying to follow that. This is not a sample beat. This is not a sample flip. This is me, just putting down piano and all the different instruments for this particular track. So let's get into it. Let's take a listen right quick. So I'm gonna give you just the beginning of my track here, so you can get a feel for what I'm doing. Let's move into it. Okay, so you can automatically hear the chords that I'm doing there. Now check this out here. Okay, so that gives you an idea of the song that I put together. Like I said, inspired by Building 429, and of course, I'll post it up, and you guys can get the full track and listen to it and all that good stuff. And I really hope you enjoy it. The thing is that what I wanted to talk about a little bit more is not just the inspiration for getting the track, but really just the building of it, if you will, as far as building the track and more of what I'm doing now in terms of building my type of music. When I'm talking about Moody instrumental music, I'm talking about music that really just, it reflects my mood at the time that I make it, but it also reflects what I'm thinking about, in terms of overall what I'm going through in life, and when I'm looking at what it is that I'm going through, and I think about, a lot of different things that I see in situations and circumstances. And so it ties those things together. It ties what I feel with what I think, and the expression is just what you hear. It's the music that you hear. That's the result. And I've always told people that I don't make music to be industry or anything like that. I don't make music to actually go out and try to shop it around. People do ask for my tracks, and I appreciate that too. People do ask for the music that I create, and they use it in different things as far as videos and commercials and stuff like that. And that's cool. I appreciate that. But when I look at what the music that I'm making, it's a reflection of my life as I go through the different parts and different phases of life. And I try to make that clear. I try to make people understand. I try to help people understand that, to where when they listen into a track and they listen to how it's structured even. And this is what I'm getting into. The way the track is structured, as you listen to that track, you notice right off the bat, it is not your standard format. It's not a pop radio format. It's not a radio format at all. It's really just structured the way I wanted it to for what I'm going to do with it. And here's what I mean by that. You notice that I have all of these piano lanes here. And what I've done in these lanes, of course, there are the pieces that you've heard. There are two pianos that I use, and I've explained this in other videos. The way that I play piano, because I'm not a piano player, I'm not a pianist, and because I'm pretty much I'm kind of like an elementary piano player. I play by ear. I don't have any solid skills as far as moving and playing. My daughter plays piano far better than I do, but she's able to read music and everything. She's way better than I am as far as piano, and she's only 7. So that gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. It's just that I have developed a way of trying to make the way that I put down keyboard notes or piano notes. I've developed a way to do that to make it sound as close to, I guess, humanly acceptable as possible. And I won't say that it sounds like a human, because the stuff that I do, a lot of times when I'm doubling piano parts and stuff like that, that's not really humanly possible unless you have two piano players, 2 pianos, that type of thing, or you have 2 people sitting at the same piano. That's the type of stuff that you get into with what I'm able to do on a computer. So I don't make any, I don't try to beef it up more than what it is. It's just me. I have a computer. I have a way of doing it, and I put it down, and I'm happy with it, and I go with it. And I try to help people who want to do the same thing. There may be things that you have in your mind. Just go for it. Just go for it and make it. Make what you have in your mind. Make it. And then let people listen to it. And of course, it's going to be good and bad critiques. Take it with a grain of salt and keep it moving. Try to improve and try to get better all the time. So what I'm saying here, when I have these 2 piano pieces, the piece that you've heard, or you hear going through most of the track, is this right here. This is basically just the chords, and I'm just going to solo it for you so you can hear it. This is just the chords that you hear moving all the way through the song. So you're hearing that right now. That's all the way through the song. Now, that by itself, and you can see that here, you can see that in the lane, you see it all the way across. Now, the thing is that even when I point that out, that's one piece, and that's one aspect of my music that a lot of people may not get. When you just give it you just hear it and you're just kind of passing by like, oh, that's a nice beat, or that's a nice beat or whatever, a nice song, and you just give it a quick listen. A lot of that stuff is bypassed. People don't know why I do what I do. That's what I'm getting at. People see that I did something. They see what I do, and they hear what I do. They hear the result of what I do. But very rarely do they get into how I do something. And that's what these videos are. You guys come and you see me make videos and see me make beats and things like that, and I show you how I do those things. Now I'm actually going through and explaining more of the why. That's why I'm talking more in this video. I'm explaining more of the why I'm doing what I'm doing. And because the why behind it, just think about it. Some of your best artists, some of the artists that you really, really like, you like their music, but, you know, there's a story behind what they're doing. And a lot of times, you know, if you think about it, some of the great artists, not just music, but the great artists, a lot of people don't get into the why they do something until after they're dead, you know, or something like that. That's just my take on it. But anyway, before I die, before I'm gone, I'm going to explain why I do what I do as far as this music. And like I just told you with Moody instrumental music, there are parts of my music when I put it together that I want to be what you would call stable, or what I want them to be steady. In other words, not changing. So there's music that I've made that has changed pretty much every measure. I've done that. And just in experimenting, just changing everything, just every measure I'm changing something. But in this, I want to create, in this collection, I want to create something that expresses the idea or the concept that I'm talking about, where I'm stirred, but I'm not shaking. I'm stirred, but I'm not shaken. And it's the idea of, you know, of course, in my faith, is there are times where I'm stirred in my faith. There are things that stir me up and kind of raise me up, and they stir me up inside. They stir me up to actually become more active and do more, do better, you know, and strive for that. But I'm not shaken. And there are things that happen, you know, just recently, you know, just looking at like the bombings in Boston and you know, looking at what happened down in Texas as far as that was a big disaster. And so many people lost their lives down there in that. And I look at these things and they stir me up, but they don't shake me. And that's the thing about it, not shaken. And that's not me. I realize that's not me. Like I said, that's in my faith. I realize that's Christ and His Spirit that actually keeps me solid, keeps me grounded. But that's what I'm expressing in this music. That's what I'm expressing in all of what I'm doing in terms of this music. Everything that I see, it reflects in this music. There's a sadness when you listen to this, and that's one of the things I want to point out too. When you're listening to this, there's a bit of like sadness. People call it, you know, melancholy or whatever. You know, they use all these different terms, but it's definitely like a sadness. It's like a low feeling to it. And when you hear these chords. And that's on purpose, you know, and that's not just me just slapping down some chords and say, oh, that sounded good, and I'm going on to the next thing. It's the idea of, this is what I want to express. But it's that steadiness of that sadness, if you will. And it's that steadiness of, that's always there. That's always there for me. And I can't say that for everybody else, but that's there for me. That's the part of my life. There's that steady sadness that's always with me. But there's also a piece in terms of there is a piece, but what I meant by, you know, like a part of, there's a piece of the music that is also optimistic. Even though there's a sadness there, there's an expression of this sadness that flows through, and it flows through when you hear the piano come in. Take, for example, when you listen to this. So when you hear that higher piano, or the high end notes come in with that little phrasing, that little melody, that even though it's kind of sad, like, it's still optimistic. It's still pointing to something. It's pointing to something that's more optimistic. It's not all bad. It's something that is hope. Is the idea that there's something better. I know there is, no matter what it is that I'm seeing. And so I start the song out, and I start a lot of my music out with this kind of quietness, or this kind of, you know, silence wrapped. Everything is basically silence, but I'm just interrupting the silence with these little pieces. You know, interrupting with these little pieces. That's all I'm doing. So you're hearing these parts, and you hear how quiet they are. And then we go into this. You notice how now it opens up, and So the idea now is that I'm opening up more of the story. It's not just the little pieces that you hear there, the sadness, but I'm gonna open it up so you can see more around what I'm talking about. So if you think of a narrator or a storyteller, or you're walking with me, I'm telling the story. Now I'm walking you into the story, and that's where the beat comes in, because the beat now takes you on the journey with me. You're walking with me as I'm telling you the story. I'm going to tell you the story from my perspective, and you're sharing it with me, walking with me. That's pretty much the beat. It's like the heartbeat and the footsteps that we're taking together. And now we're on more of the journey as it opens up, and I'm explaining more around you, more of the parts around you, more of the things that I see, more of the things that I feel. And that bass that you feel in there is lighter, and it's just hitting, bum, bum, bum. It's just hitting until we drop right here. Now you can see, and I'm telling more of the heaviness of what it is that I'm seeing, and more of the strength of how heavy it is for me. But as you're walking with me, you notice that key those chords stay steady. They don't change. They're just all the way through. Now there's an addition to the beat. If you listen closely, you can hear the pattern. This pattern right here. You see what I'm saying? So it's just adding more as we're walking together, and I'm sharing more of my story. Now I'm taking you to the hook. This is the hook or the chorus. And you notice all it is the same thing that those high notes were playing, but I'm just walking through it with a bounce. That's all I'm doing. And now I'll take you into the second verse. So, like I said, it's the structure. I can't explain all of it to you because it would take, of course, it would take me about 30 minutes or so. And I'm not going to do that to you. I appreciate you hung with me this long to just listen to me, rattle off why it is that I'm doing what I'm doing here. But I tell you the parts, I tell you the story, I give you, give you the little chorus in the middle, then I take you to another verse. And then what I want people to notice is how I am doing, like in the second verse here. I go back to that acoustic bass. Two of the biggest pieces in this song for me are the drops. When it goes from this acoustic bass it's lighter. It's still looking at, the tragic situations and things like that, and the heaviness and the sadness about it, but it's lighter. It's like I can deal, but then it drops. Now in this case right here, in this piece right here, where you're hearing all of my instrumentation, flutes, got cellos, got double bass, violins, all of those pieces. Now I'm going to explain this piece right here because this, like I said, there's two big pieces I wanted to make sure you understood. Is that drop of the bass, but I also wanted to explain this too. Is when I'm telling this in the second verse, when you hear all of that instrumentation come around, it's a change of perspective. If I kept everything the same way it was before I got, and just told a story and just come into the second verse and did the same thing, it's basically keeping you on this level. But as soon as I bring in that instrumentation, you hear all these things kind of brighten up and you hear things kind of moving up. That's what I call, for me, the change of perspective in my music. I'm actually literally, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to change the perspective. I'm not going to look down here and see this all the time. I'm changing where I'm looking, changing my perspective. And that's what happens in these pieces here. Because you notice everything else is still the same. The beat, the chords, all that stuff is still the same. So I'll give you that change of perspective, and then I'll walk you right back into the verse or the chorus. got the angelic vocals, if you will. And now I'll walk you into another part. Now you notice here, you got a flute. A flute that's giving you a little bit right here in the silence. But listen now to what happens from here. Out to the final big piece, if you will. And this piece right here, usually when I get to this part, this is really the change into more of the bigger picture. I'm no longer walking you in my little perspective of what I'm seeing, but I'm giving you now more of a bigger picture. And that's what is taking you to this piece right here. And this is the final. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of the structure of this song in terms of just kind of how I move through, you know, a musical piece, or what I call my Moody instrumental music. When I'm moving through my music and I'm putting it together, that's the idea that I have in my head. I'm actually moving through, and for this particular song, it's just explaining to you the different parts and what they mean to me. Like I said, there's a lot more in there. There's a lot more that I can unpackage. Like I said, this video will be extra long, and I won't do that to you. But I'm also very happy that you stuck around to listen to this and listen to me just go on about, you know, why I did this and why I put it together this way. And hopefully that gives you some insight, because there's a lot more to the making of the music than just putting the beat down and putting the melody down. I always feel that music does, in some kind of way, tell a story. And if it's there are those people who are actually out there who are really doing more than just expressing. If you listen to it, they're really giving you some epic stuff, some very, very beautiful stuff that's out there. And there are so many people who have influenced me right here on YouTube. Like I always credit, you know, Boondock, you know, Booney Mayfield, as far as just watching him progress. You know, going from sampling and now how he's actually creating, and watching him on all of the instruments. I mean, that's very inspirational. I'll give him props for that. Same thing for Neff the Damager, Nefarious. Big influence for me, as far as, again, starting out with sampling and then moving into something else, and just letting the music take, just going with whatever is out there, just experimenting and finding his voice and just doing his thing. You know, I really appreciate that, because it allows me to see that, yes, this is what I thought it was all about in the very beginning, and to see other people do the same thing, it makes me feel real confident, as far as, hey, this is good. You know, just keep moving with whatever comes your way. So many other people out there I can give props to. King I Divine, you know, just so many people out there that when I look at where we started from, and I say we, but when I look at when I started out with the Akai MPD32, and I went out and got that machine, these were the three people that I saw. Like I said, Boondock, Nefarious, and King I Divine. They were the three that I saw. I was like, wait a minute, yo, just watching them and what they were doing as far as sampling, that's what got me hooked. But just going along the way, I started discovering other pieces, got more into playing piano and instrumentation. Instrumentation is my thing, adding all the different instruments and trying to make all of it make sense. So I'm rambling now, but I thank you all for watching this video and spending this 27 minutes with me. And to show my appreciation, go ahead and download this track free of charge. Just go ahead and enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. This is Stirred, Not Shaken. Grace and peace until next time, y'all. Take care of yourself, and I'll be seeing you again soon.